Number 31, Tom Williamson. Pommy, it's been an interesting run for Willow. He obviously starts his career with us as a promising first-year player and then has a couple of seasons with some serious injury, really, really serious injury. Seems to bounce back from that and have a solid year. And then I think last year he seemed to just lose his way a little bit. I think a lot of them are in that same position coming off last year. I think the whole group lost their way in many respects, maybe aside from a couple of players and individuals who are just brilliant. But Willow strikes me as someone who has the tools. And what I mean by that is you can tell he's got an appetite for the contest. He's aggressive. He's not afraid to throw his weight around. He's not afraid to have a real attacking and powerful mindset. And I can imagine Vossi loving what he has with Willow. And maybe this is just a case of putting some parameters around him that he can work within to get the best out of himself. What do you imagine with Willow this year?
He's the ultimate tease, isn't he, Willow? Because like you've said, you watch him and he's got a tick in every box. And then it comes to game time and that application starts to go a little bit. You start to see them holes, and what you saw in training isn't quite what you saw in the real game, but spot on. I think Voss will love him in the terms of that he is up for the fight. Nothing's too hard. You see, one thing with Willow is he's trying all the time. Even when he makes mistakes, you saw it against St Kilda this week, just gone. He's quick to adjust. He's chasing backwards. He's trying to rectify the damage done. I did like Willow's game in the practice game. I really did like it, and especially when he went a bit higher up the ground in that midfield. You've got to remember, incidentally, St Kilda last year, he kicked 2 goals, and we were like, is this the winger that we want? Is this the guy? I think that is Willow's job. What are you? Because if he is going to be in the half-back flank, it's probably the hardest position in Carlton Football Club to even get a gig now, because there's a lot of guys that are all Australian class in that role. Is he a winger? Has he got the engine? There's a lot of questions about Willow, but this year really could be a big year for Willow, because I think there is options if he applies himself. I think there is a chance if he stays fit, a bit like the video we just done on Charlie. If he stays fit, this could be it for Willow.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, loves a dash, has the athleticism, can tackle and tackle hard. I just think that at times he finds himself in trouble a little bit. Maybe he's where he should have handballed, he tries to take the game on, and where he should take the game on, he maybe handballs. And that could really just be a notion of coaching. And that could be a notion of his understanding of his role within the team and what he's meant to do. And I think, I mean, Vossi's mentioned it before as well. Like it's a clean slate for everyone. Like, yes, there are preconceived ideas and reputations in this league, and that's just the way the world goes. You build a reputation, and it either improves or it decreases. And footy's an interesting one because you can seemingly really quickly increase your reputation and really quickly decrease it. But I don't think we're at a situation where it's like we need to be getting rid of Willow, or it's the last season before, we need to think about getting rid of him. I still think there's so much there to work with. And that's not to give too many excuses, but there's something about him which I really like. And again, it's this word potential and all of that. And that's a word that we want to move away from, and we want to move a little bit more closer towards fulfillment, fulfillment of the potential. I'm not sure. I guess that's the question. What is he? What is he going to be? And that's really where he is right now. It's probably a few more questions than what there are answers, I think. And this is just based off what we saw in the practice match and what we've seen from him throughout his career. I think he's a player that's going to be playing in the back half. There is the notion of him pushing up on the wing. And yes, is that something he can do for a little bit, for a lot? Remains to be seen. But I think this is an important year for him as he moves away from young Willow and he steps into man Willow and adult Willow. I think this is one of the more crucial years for him.
Mate, I think you've nailed it. I think when you look at Tom Williamson, you've got to remember he's 23, 24 this year. He's been around. Do you know what I mean? He's no longer a kid. 2016 draft. this stage of his career, people have won Brownlows from that. Do you know what I mean? In that amount of seasons. So he's not a baby anymore. It's now the time to put up or shut up. And I think Willow's got something. I think if I was Voss, I'd be looking at 2017 Freo, where we lost that game. And if anyone remembers it, we got battered and peppered. And Willow was that defensive wing, and he was the outlet ball. And he took a lot of marks there as Carlton were really clinging on for dear life. And I incidentally, the St Kilda game this year, just week gone, what impressed me about Willow is I thought his best quarter was the second quarter when we were getting peppered. And it was the fact he was willing to take the game on, but also make himself available in them pressure cooker situations, which is why I think Carlton lose games. Because when we have pressure, most people are like, oh, I don't want any part of that. Willow was running to that half forward, that half back line and saying, look, give me the ball. I'll get us out of this. And it's the guys who can front up will get you out of trouble. You look at the top teams, your Neil Bullens, your Vineys at Melbourne. These guys love it when they're under the cosh. That's when they put their hands up and say, this is a bit of me, this. And Willow's one of them guys. And I think if Voss can find his role, I think he has a very important part to play. I'm not going to give up on Willow yet, but I do appreciate this is the year where we know what the hell he is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. What about you guys at home? How do you see the progression of Tom Williamson and what do you predict and what do you expect from him over the next season or the next few seasons? Let us know in the comments below.